Hello everyone and welcome to Sort of My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, sitting to my right.
Travis Herman, Dr. T. Neal.
Odle is out with strep throat, and we can only assume how he got that.
Yeah.
Can you get strep throat for, like...
Fellatio?
Yeah.
He can.
He pulled it off.
He managed it.
Guys, go to Sort of My Brand or our new news page, Sort of My Comics on Facebook, and like those. Follow Sort of My Podcast on Instagram and subscribe to Sort of My Brand on YouTube. You got to be listening to this somewhere. While here, why not rate, review, comment, let us know what you think about any of today's stories or anything that we talk about. And all of our personal social media is down in the description below. Trav, we had a little bit of time off there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we had episode 29 came out, normal show, and then we did The Last Jedi, which, holy shit, I cannot believe how, like...
Not in the loop yet.
Polarized. Yeah, you haven't seen it yet, so
No.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I wouldn't anyways for this podcast. But yeah, it's just, wow, people are just polar. I even, like... A social justice warrior took to Facebook to defend, like, The Last Jedi and all these little parts.
Staying up all night, refreshing comments.
There were some times, like, not all night, but there were some times I was sitting there for an hour going, like, that fucker respond? Did that motherfucker? What?
I'm gonna stick around and see if he does.
Yeah, no, it was, the whole... I mean, there are problems with the film. There
Yeah.
are. And the more I think about it, I haven't gotten to see it since it came out, but the more I think about it, yeah, like, some of the other stuff stands out, but also, like, some other things just get better the more I think about them, the more I elaborate on them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go into it not really judging it by what it recycles, I'd say. You know, I'm gonna see it as a fresh movie because I'm not huge on critiquing the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Except if it's like the 1, 2, and 3 has like definitely a different feel than the original.
Oh yeah. The prequels are very different.
Yeah.
And that's what The Last Jedi kind of does, is it tries to, like, change everything. It's trying to change the Star Wars franchise in a good way, not a bad way. I see what Rian Johnson's doing, and it could all be undone in episode 9 because J.J. Abrams did episode 7. Rian Johnson changed everything with episode 8, and now J.J. Abrams is on episode 9. So who knows? J.J. might be like, you know what? Changing it back.
Yeah, he just might.
But you'll like it. It's a good time. But yeah, so did you do anything over the break at all?
Not.
I mean, we had Christmas together.
Yeah, we seen each
at
other on
Mom's.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I finished a couple books and been working on a couple paintings and stuff. I haven't read any comics over the time. Well, I'm lying. I couldn't help it. I picked up a couple, but I finished I think The Hitchhiker's Guide, and then a 6th book that was written by the guy from Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, you've been pretty jamming on that series for a while.
Yeah, and then I read like the first omnibus of Invincible.
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't think it's the omnibus,
what
but
you
it's
call
not a trade either. I really don't like. I'm not huge in like the collector's side of comic books.
Terminology.
Yeah, I don't really delve into that world too much. Like, I mean, I obviously know what an omnibus is when I see it, and I know a trade paperback. But yeah, this is some sort of. It's kind of like an in between. Maybe
it was like 14 comics, I think, in it, and it was it was a good time.
I think usually an omnibus like tries to collect the entire series, and at most there's usually like 2 or 3 of them in volumes because like maybe the series was really huge. But
I'm gonna keep going with it because I liked it though. So I didn't really take too much of a break with the reading, so I guess it's kind of as normal for me. Just without recording.
My break was I was mostly like some of our listeners and some of our fans on Facebook and whatnot might have noticed that the YouTube page is rapidly getting caught up.
I noticed that myself. I see, like, I should probably share that.
I spent a lot of time, like, I'm to the point where I'm almost making like 2 uploads a day, just trying to get the podcast caught up on YouTube, so that way we can start hitting all this hard, because some stuff's coming. Like, we were just working last night on some stuff, some ideas that we're kicking around, and that's
some of the stuff I've been doing too in my downtime. Just brewing ideas.
But I've been doing that, watching a whole lot of TV and movies movies.
Yeah, I watched a lot of stuff too myself.
I started watching Portlandia. That is a
yeah.
great show.
I wanted to get into it.
I'll show you an episode after we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's
That's a good one,
it
though,
is
is
a
what I
fun. Ayo, River. You're gonna love that. Trust me. You're gonna love it when you hear it. No, trying to get caught up on some movie classics that I never got to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now would be the time to bring this up. One of the shows, since we're talking about shows,
Oh,
that
yeah,
I watched is Happy. Have you seen Happy yet?
No, not yet.
That's,
where is that?
That's something we should really cover.
Where's that streaming?
I saw
Is
it
it
on
streaming anywhere?
Oh, I saw it on Sci-Fi, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know where you might catch it. Maybe Hulu.
Oh,
but I'll have to look into it.
I think I heard that it was released on YouTube even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
you
wow.
might be able to check that out. I don't know
I'll
for
check
sure.
that out. But no, it does look great. Like,
It's
I mean, well,
amazing.
one, you got God, what is that?
It's
Law and Order,
it's
and
a comic by Grant Morrison for those who don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read it myself, but I started looking into it and I want to now.
they call it the extremely graphic novel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got it stars Chris Maloney.
Chris Maloney. That's right.
As your deadbeat. What would you call him?
He was a former cop. I know that.
He was like a legendary cop.
Yeah.
And now he's a
Okay.
deadbeat who does like all kinds of drugs.
He was like
and
drunk and shit. Yeah.
solves crimes for like beer, kind of thing. And then you have Patton Oswalt doing the voice of Happy the Imaginary.
I love Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
I can't deny him in anything.
But yeah, Patton Oswalt does the voice of Happy the Imaginary Horse Unicorn. Oh man, it's just awesome.
I saw the trailers for it.
It's made by the guys who did Crank, so it's really fast paced, but it's not as fast paced to where you think you might not like it, like Crank kind of. That's kind of how I felt with Crank.
I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
Second
but I
one's
hear
really
it's
bad
not as
idea.
good. Yeah.
It's a horrible idea.
Speaking of something that we only just heard of, we just found out about, and we're gonna do instead of comics because Trav didn't really have much time to prepare for this. I only really had one and wasn't that important.
Out of all the books I read, I'm not fresh on just one issue right now.
Yeah. So we thought we'd go ahead and talk about this show. Just came out within the past few days, and it's called The End of the Fucking World. And I saw the trailer for this, which got me interested, and I think it was, I don't know how I saw this trailer actually. Maybe Philip DeFranco or something. I know someone had mentioned it, so I checked it out.
Right.
And when I checked it out, I had no idea it was coming to Netflix because it didn't say. And I had
I
no
saw
idea.
that trailer. There's no stamp on there.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was going to be a show. I thought it was a movie. So even when I made the post advertising it on SMP, I was like, can't wait to see this film. So it sounded like a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
but it came out of nowhere, man. It came out of nowhere because just like 2 days after I saw the trailer, which apparently hadn't been out very long, it was up on Netflix. And that's the only reason I found out it was on Netflix because it popped up on Netflix.
I didn't see any advertisement for it. I saw it all on Facebook. The title. But everybody's like, don't watch the whole first season. It's been like 20 minutes into the release. So it's like, hey, just watch the whole thing. And I'm pretty much an expert on it now.
Right. Well, and that was the other thing, because we were talking about this last night when we watched the first episode. We thought it was going to be your classic 45-minute Netflix show.
Got ready and everything. Like, there's a whole big deal behind it. Big story we're not going to go into, but... Yeah, we finally sit down to watch it, and it's 17 minutes.
Yeah, the first episode I think it was like 22. The next episode's like 19 minutes. Yeah, it's only 8 episodes, so it's a relatively short show. You could bust this out in like an afternoon.
It said like 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, apparently this is based off of a graphic novel. Never heard of it before. Yeah. We kind of changed gears here a little last minute, so I didn't really do my research. I don't know who wrote it or who drew it, but I'm just judging from this first episode. I would say check it out. Like I haven't gotten the whole show yet, but it seems like an interesting ride in comic book form.
After all I've seen being the first episode, I would like to see how they changed it. Yeah. What's the original content and to see
how close are they? Yeah, and that's always fun. Like a lot of people hate it when a graphic novel or when a movie or a TV show like strays away from a graphic novel or something. But Kick-Ass was really great. Well, the first
watching the first episode of The End of the Fucking World, I didn't get the feeling that it was a comic book thing at
Yeah.
all. It
Well-
still doesn't feel like anything like a comic book, but more of like an awkward
Well, we had
Film.
mentioned that like it had shade.
bleakness.
It felt like cinematography wise, it felt like Napoleon Dynamite with shades of Edgar Wright in
Yeah.
there. Like and neither one of these guys, we looked it up, neither one of these guys had anything to do with the production. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a very interesting style. And if you've seen the trailer, then you've already seen the first episode. Because we only watched that.
Essentially.
Yeah, we figured we'd watch the first episode, we'd talk about how like it starts out. We probably should have watched like another
2,
one
yeah.
at least. But
Get our 45 minutes.
yeah,
worth.
especially since it was only like 22 minutes. So we're gonna do spoilers. But so basically, you have this kid who is a sociopath, and you get kind of a recap into the whole how he got to this point, and it goes pretty quickly, but
Which is kind of like that Edgar Wright style.
yeah.
It was like to the
Oh
point.
yeah, when the little animals are
Oh.
popping into the frame.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
yeah.
But also that kind of reminds me, like, in the Edgar Wright movies, he kind of like gives away the whole movie within like the first like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. Like the characters are like dialogue is real quick, and
Yeah.
it gives you the whole wrap up
And
of who they are.
We'll get to the dialogue here in a second, but
And that's what happens in the beginning.
yeah.
Though, is it like his inner monologue is wrapping up who this kid
Yeah,
is.
and with a kid like this, you pretty much know, like, okay, yeah, he was killing animals, yeah, he has trouble connecting with people. Like, we don't need an entire first episode to show us that.
Yeah.
Like, just a real quick recap, we get it. He wants to be
Yeah.
a serial killer, and that's where we really start the show. Is he's decided, I'm gonna kill someone, and then we meet the other character, the girl. Fuck, why can't-
Elisa.
Elisa,
Is
yes.
that-
What was the kid's name? What was the boy's name?
He looks like Colin Hanks.
James. It was James.
James?
Yeah, it was James. So okay, and then we meet Elisa, and then we kind of go through her recap,
Yeah.
of, like her backstory.
Yeah, it starts going through her monologue,
Yeah.
and like you keep watching for a couple minutes, and it starts tying in at the exact same
Yeah.
point with his monologue.
Yeah, like his ends, and then hers begins, and then we come right back to the moment where she says, "I saw you skate."
You
Yeah.
shit.
You shit.
Yeah.
He's like,
We almost thought
fuck
that they
off.
were gonna have a like inner monologue battle, like just
Yeah.
staring at each other real awkwardly.
because when they
while they're-
finally converge, she walks up and his inner monologue starts going,
Mhm.
and then she says, "I saw you skate," and then her inner monologue says, "No, it didn't."
No, dude, yeah.
And so
I feel like we're gonna hear a lot
I-
more monologue. in
yeah,
the
I want to
episodes.
apologize for my accent. It's like, I don't know, like it's just gonna
Trying
come
to
out.
do your British accent.
My British accent. So they meet, and then they just start hanging out. He decides that she would be fun to kill.
Yeah, she's the one he
And-
wants to kill.
Yeah, and so he decides the best way to do it is to get her to fall in love with him, which leads to the best makeout scene of all time.
Yeah,
where James is jutting his lips out.
he's
And-
forcefully, just pushing
Yeah.
his face
Like-
without making a kiss face.
Yeah, he's trying to. It's almost like he's trying to shoot his lips off of his face.
Right,
towards her.
mentally.
And she is like attempting to eat his face.
Yeah, doing like a whole car wash around
Yeah,
his
because
lips.
neither one of them know what they're doing. Obviously, is what
The kids
what's
are young.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of Moonrise Kingdom in a way that the kids are rebellious, but they're still really young and novice, and
Yeah.
they go out to do this adventure.
yeah. This is like
And they
so
start
right now.
exploring
This
romance.
feels like a much more extreme
Yes.
version of that. So long story short, well, not really a long story. 22-minute story short. She keeps surprising him, and he starts finding that
Oh.
he's having a little more fun than he thought.
Yeah.
And eventually she gets asked to do something for her mom and then harassed by her stepdad and decides, fuck it, I'm leaving town. I'm done. I hate this place.
And she asks him to go
Yeah,
with her.
she goes to James's house, recruits him. He punches his dad in the face. They steal the car and they drive off. And
Yeah.
then that's our first episode.
And when she pitches to him that let's just run away together, in his head he's like, I've got some time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend some time with her, and then eventually I will kill her, but I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Yeah, because he had the knife under the pillow. He was ready to
Awkwardly grabbing it. It's
yeah.
great.
And he was like sitting there contemplating. He was like, I wonder how I should slit her neck right now. It was like, should I do it from behind or like
Yeah.
And I'm just now noticing it's the way he's talking about it kind of like sounds like plotting sex,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
what he's talking about is slitting her throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a really good show, or at least a really good first episode.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm over the moon with this thing yet. Again, the trailer is pretty much the first episode.
Yeah, it's gonna take more than one episode to win me over for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it, but it's not something I'm probably gonna binge right away.
Yeah.
Unless I was a like avid Netflix user, I probably would.
Yeah, I think
Definitely networks.
I think regardless, I'm probably gonna watch the whole thing because I try to give a show 5 episodes before I discount it. Like before I'm like I'm done. Since this is only 8 episodes, they're generally 20 or less minutes. I'm just gonna finish the fucking show. Because by the time I get to episode 5, I'm gonna be like, maybe the show sucks, and I'm gonna be like, oh fuck this, I hate it, but there's only like 45 minutes left to watch.
Yeah, really.
So
might as well sit for the rest of the movie.
Might as well bite the bullet so I can say whether the whole thing sucks or not. So
yeah.
So I would say check it out, give it a try. It's not gonna take up too much of your time. And
it's definitely Netflix binge worthy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you love binging, like you'll get this one done fast.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and jump into the news.
It's time for the news, the phone booth news.
That's right, everyone. Right now it's time for the phone booth news, where we try to give you the news faster than Deadpool can save the day, which gives us about 3 minutes 45 seconds. And wow, we've got our work cut out for us on this one. Well, I've got my work cut out for me on this one.
I can watch you sweat it.
I've got, what do I have? I have 3
graphic novels,
3 1/3 pages of fucking phone booth news here. That's what we get for taking a few weeks off.
Lots happening.
Pretty much skipping December. Hold on, let me get a sip of Java real quick.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Delicious.
Is this the earliest recording we've ever had?
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever done. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee instead of beer.
It's before noon.
All right.
All right. 3,
are we ready?
2, 1.
All right. In Sometimes the Internet is Awesome news, a new episode of Superpower Beatdown from Bat in the Sun released featuring Negan fighting the Joker. A 5.5-minute concept trailer called The Star Wars was posted to the Dave School YouTube channel and is based off of George Lucas's original script and Ralph McQuarrie's early concept illustrations. In video game news, Pokemon Crystal version is coming to the Nintendo eShop on January 26th with modern enhancements and a rumored ability to catch Celebi in-game. Injustice 2's gameplay trailer for the Enchantress is out now, and you could just wait till tomorrow to play it because that's when the character comes out. In comics news, Dick Tracy is making the return to comics on April 11th via Archie Comics Publishing. IDW is launching the Bubba Hotep prequel comic in March titled Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers. The wildly inappropriate sexual relationship between Deathstroke and 15-year-old Teen Titan Terra, dating back to the Judas Contract story arc from 1984, has finally been retconned in DC's newest issue of Deathstroke number 27. Gail Simone was announced as the writer of the new ongoing series Domino, which goes on sale also on April 11th. Thanos' birth name was recently revealed in Thanos number 14. And in movie news, the Slender Man trailer released, and it's as confusing and ineffectual as you'd expect. Disney CEO Bob Iger says that the future Deadpool films will likely remain R under their ownership. Hugh Jackman also stated that the ship has sailed for him in regards to reprising his role as Wolverine in the MCU. John Williams recently told Variety that he will be writing the theme for Solo, a Star Wars story, but John Powell will still be writing the main score. The Flash is getting a direct-to-market Lego film, and the trailer for which is out now. Warner Brothers has appointed New Line executive Walter Hamada to replace, I wrote that wrong, to replace John Berg as co-head of DC Films with Jeff Johns. Peter Jackson's new steampunk epic, Mortal Engines, has a teaser trailer out now featuring a mobile version of Paris eating a smaller mobilized city. In TV news, the role of Sabrina Spellman has been cast with actress Kiernan Shipka, known for playing Sally Draper in Mad Men. Netflix and DreamWorks Animation are teaming up to reboot She-Ra with showrunner and co-creator of the comic Lumberjanes, Noelle Stevenson. Amblin TV and Warner Brothers Animation are also joining forces once again with their own reboot for the Animaniacs that includes a 2-season commitment with Hulu. The Runaways, The Gifted, and The Punisher have all been renewed for second seasons, with Legion announcing its season 2 return in April. Sci-fi Superman prequel Krypton finally has a release date, and the series debuts March 21st with new photos out now. Nice. Colton Hayes is set to return to his role as Arsenal in episode 15 of this season of Arrow. First look images for Black Lightning's Thunder and Titan's Hawk and Dove have released. While Thunder is okay but odd due to the possible bad photoshopping, Hawk and Dove are incredibly comic accurate and serve up a lot of excitement, and that is the news.
3:30.
Wow! Yeah, I stumbled a little bit there too. I think I'm getting better at that though. I didn't stumble nearly as much as I normally did, and I really butchered.
I feel like you fleshed out the words a lot better compared to some.
Replace. I wrote RELAOE. That is
looks like it says relace.
That is how I spelled replace right there. So that really tripped me up. But yeah, phone booth news, guys. Wow, like there was some cool stuff though that came out. Nothing really like big topic worthy.
I love the Lego movies, so obviously the Flash Lego.
Well,
movies.
This is like a direct to DVD type thing.
Oh,
but
so
yeah, so it's not like
Lego
a full. Well, it is like a full length film, but it's not going to be in theaters.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Is it going to be one of the? Because I've watched a ton of the Lego movies.
That
they're still great.
Yeah, those are like. I don't even think they have their own universe. They're just their own separate things. And then you've got the Lego movie universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I watched the Scooby-Doo Lego movie. I can't remember which one it is, if there's multiples of them. But it's where they're at a movie studio. But Matthew Lillard still does the voice for Scooby-Doo. Or not Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, who's the guy who played him in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was interesting that they
cool.
had Matthew Lillard still do it. And I think he's done more of Shaggy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
which is amazing.
He did a great job in the movie. The Scooby-Doo movie isn't
awesome,
entirely irredeemable, especially when it comes to their cast. Like,
yeah, I didn't know who knew we were going to go down this road, but yeah, I like it.
Okay, guys, so any of those news stories you want to check out, they're over on the SMC page, Sort of My Comics on Facebook. So go over there, give that page a like, and you get regular updates, some news stories daily. And that's going to lead us into a new segment. I said a while back that if this kept happening, and it's gotten to a point where it's almost every episode we cover something like this, we were going to make a segment out of it. And that new segment is called Fallen Heroes. Shine a little bit of a spotlight on some of the people we have lost recently. And we lost 3 over the course of our break. So
gives it a more of a Hall of Fame kind of glow.
Yeah. I feel it's a little bit more respectful too. Yeah. Instead of like ending our show on like a little bit of a payout. This is like
if you're sad enough, go ahead and subscribe to our show. And I'm just too sad anymore.
I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is the
Hall
of Famers.
This is our Fallen Heroes segment, and first up we have Fran Hopper. Fran Hopper was one of many women filling in for men who left for World War II and entered the comics industry in 1943 as an artist for Iger Studios and drew stories for Fiction House. She left for Timely Comics, now known as Marvel Comics, and co-created Patsy Walker. With the war over, though, she eventually retired from comics in 1947 to start a family. And she passed away on the 29th of November at the age of 95. So we lost a little bit of I don't want to say comics icon or comics legend, but a comics pioneer, for sure. Yeah, she predates Marvel, man. Yeah. So Alfie Curtis also passed away. The British actor best known as Dr. Cornelius Evison, the patron in the Mos Eisley Cantina, the screwing with Luke.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was like, it'll be dead. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he passed away on Christmas Day, 87. And while he was such a small part of the Star Wars franchise, we're always gonna remember that guy.
Yeah.
We're always gonna remember the dude who picked a fight with Luke Skywalker, got his arm cut off by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or no, it was his friend that got his arm cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
But hey, they were wanted men. They had the death penalty on 12 systems, and none of them caught up with him ever. So life well
Remember
lived.
those a lot better than I do.
Also, and last, actress Heather North, best known for voicing Daphne Blake, passed away on November 30th at the age of 71 in her home following a long illness, though.
From Scooby Doo, is that what you're talking
Yeah, yeah, she was.
Daphne Blake.
Well, she had a lot. She was a lot. She was credited with a lot of on-screen roles too.
No.
Like she did a lot of different jobs, but mostly she was known for her animated adventures as the enthusiastic but clumsy teen who solved mysteries with Scoob and the gang. So, but yeah,
Kind of relevant now.
well, she kind of she played the character for like 3 decades. So
damn.
for 30 years, I think her last movie was Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico in 2003.
That's why I was making like kind of a big deal about Matthew Lillard, because didn't Casey Kasem do Shaggy forever?
Yeah.
And now he had passed away, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he passed away a little
Matthew
while ago.
Lillard taking the torch, kind of. I don't know if he still does, but like he would be a great pick.
Yeah, so we lost some pioneers. We lost some people who will remember forever. And we wish their families the best.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to go ahead and move on from that now and get into our first big story of the show. And that is that the Writers Guild of America West has a problem with the Disney Fox deal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just to give you a little idea of what I'm talking about here, they actually released a statement. They said this proposed merger of direct competitors will make matters even worse by substantially increasing the market power of a combined Disney-Fox corporation. The antitrust concerns raised by this deal are obvious and significant. The Writers Guild of America West strongly opposes this merger and will work to ensure our nation's antitrust laws are enforced. Actually, they're not the first ones to have a problem with this deal. And I've heard this in some of the podcasts that I've been listening to and stuff. I think Fat Man on Batman had the best contrast of opinions because Kevin Smith all for it, just like Stanley. Stanley was like, "Man, this is great." In fact, quoting Stanley, "It's vitally important to have Marvel characters under one roof." And I agree. Yeah, I mean, we're all excited for this for a specific reason.
When you approach it, you go, "Why not?"
Yeah. Why was it never? Why was it like this from the beginning? There might have never been a potential merger if it hadn't been for this.
I'd say it's only such a mess because it was a big mess where all the characters were everywhere.
Well, yeah,
big writer nightmare, I assume.
But what the problem here is, and what a lot of people are not cool with, is that one, there's definitely going to be some layoffs. Like merging these two studios, there's going to be some overlapping jobs and stuff, and they're just not going to need everyone. So we might lose people from Disney too. Some people that are already working for Disney right now might get laid off in lieu of someone more qualified from Fox, or the other way around. So people are going to lose their jobs. It's going to make it harder in the industry to like get work like that, because like, okay, so like let's say that you're qualified for one thing. Let's say like art is a very specialized, like drawing is a very specialized thing, and you only have like 6 or 7 people to go to, and it's hard enough just to get in the door with these people. And then 2 of them combine, and now you only have the 6. Like, you've got less options now. It would be a little scarier. Yeah. So that's essentially what's happening here, is that these people in these specialized fields are losing one of the places to go because now it's a part of Disney again. Like, it's not eliminating everyone from Fox, but it's gonna.
Isn't this? I don't know how much Fox had to had say in it, but isn't it Fox's?
No. Well, I mean,
wouldn't they have to agree to this whole thing?
It was it was the owner of Fox.
So who are people shitting on though, Disney or Fox?
See, that's the thing. I don't think people really know exactly who to shit on directly.
I feel like not having read it yet. I feel like people are probably gonna be shitting on Disney, being like, "Y'all can't own everything."
No, yeah, that is a big thing because a lot of like, oh my god, I see these like Nazi Disney memes all the time. It's just ridiculous. They're a company.
I made a good joke, but I'm not that serious about it. I made the joke about I wrote a post. The reason that Disney is trying to absorb all these other companies is because they're needing enough power to power the Walt Disney cyber suit with his frozen head. But I wasn't going the Nazi route.
No, yeah, like people have legitimate ideas that this is Disney trying to control the world. And they can't. Like there are rules here. The reason this isn't like an immediate thing, like the reason this isn't Disney handing over the money and now they have Fox is because there are substantial, I don't want to say legal problems, but federal concerns, and the federal government has to look into this deal to make sure it's on the level. Like, it's not giving Disney too much power. It's not giving Disney a monopoly and stuff. Sure. So while even if the deal goes through, it's still not Disney controlling the world. Like, you know, like, yes, they are like narrowing down the options of work for people, which does kind of suck, and giving people like one less place to go. Right. But yeah, at the same time, it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. Like with Star Wars, we were just talking, like, everyone's like, oh, it's the worst fucking movie ever. God damn it. I got real passionate just now. Destroy my comics. Yeah, well, and then another thing, especially the Writers Guild of America West, like one of their other concerns is that it's going to make it harder to negotiate for better rates and working conditions with less people at the table to discuss it with. Like, so that's another concern is the unions, the actors' unions and stuff.
Yeah. Going into that world, after like reading like enough like I've read a couple I just read the Bruce Campbell autobiography not too long ago, but I've listened to a ton of actors and writers and directors lately over the past month actually, so that's one of the things I've been doing. And one of the main things going into the entertainment business like that is it's not for sure. So if those people are really scared of losing their jobs, it's always been that way. Well, kinda. It's not as such immediate. It hasn't always been as immediate, but if they want that part, they better. But
you also got to think. You also got to think of what we're talking about here. We're not talking about like some small studio that got bought up. We're talking about fucking who knew Fox was gonna get absorbed into Disney? Like,
and it's again, you know, granted, it's a big business, and a lot of movies, shows, and all that like pride themselves at the end of the credits, like this supplied this many jobs. So I'm like.
Yeah, it is one of those things, like, you know, nothing's forever, and inherently, you know, who knows? Disney could make a wrong step in the next 10 years and start going way downhill.
Yeah, we can see all this dissolve eventually.
Yeah, and what I think is a little humorous here is all we wanted was the Marvel movie. All we wanted was X-Men.
Couple characters, man.
Yeah, all we wanted was X-Men and Fantastic Four. We didn't ask you to buy the damn company. We just wanted the rights, man. We just wanted you guys to make the opening negotiations were probably just for the Marvel properties. And then Disney started going, oh, they got Die Hard over there. Let's see what else they got.
That was the...
And they started pulling through the catalog and like, we gotta make these movies.
Right. That was the deal breaker.
And then that's when it went off the rails and fucking Disney's eyes got wider than its mouth. Well, no, because its mouth is pretty damn big. They're rich as fuck. So that's just Disney. Bigger. That's Disney money, man. So I think that's like the second largest deal. I think Time Warner buying AOL for $165 billion was the biggest one, and this was like 65. billion, which is funny because they only paid George Lucas $4 billion for the Star Wars franchise, and they've already made $5 billion off of
I
that.
can't remember who it was, and if you know it, tell me. But didn't Arby's buy something out for like a few billion, and everybody was like, "Where the fuck did Arby's get $1 billion?" Like,
no, I don't remember that, but that's hilarious.
Absorbed some other company.
I believe it. I love Arby's.
Yeah, I do too.
This show isn't about Arby's.
No. Brought to you by Arby's.
But yeah, so that's pretty much where we're standing with that deal. Honestly, I don't like a big deal like the Writers Guild of America getting involved is a little bit of a hiccup, but I don't think it'll kill the deal. I think if anything, it'll probably mean that some provisions will have to be made in order to ensure that I don't think they'll save every job, but maybe by making a fuss, they'll be able to make a few more seats available so not everyone's getting laid off and stuff.
The only way to justify it is not everything in that business is forever.
Anyway, we're talking about Disney. They're a smart company. They wouldn't have entered into a deal that they thought was going to get shot down by the federal government. They've probably minded their P's and Q's as much as they can.
I assume they have scientists working on this, just working on the pitch, like
not only lawyers but scientists who have law degrees.
Right, they have like the next 3 years of like consequences planned out. Like this is what's gonna happen.
Like you've got one scientist over here. He's got like a beaker and he's like dipping the contract in, and it comes out and it's blue, and he looks over and he shakes his head no. Like,
They got their own lab. Man.
Yeah, they've got their own science law lab.
No, I may have sounded like a stickler, but hey, no, that does suck for all these
people. Yeah, it sucks, but for people like us, like we're not in the industry yet. So we're seeing it from the fans' point of view. From our point of view, I want Disney to have all these properties because they're gonna make them better. It's gonna make going to the movies more fun. It's gonna be watching these shows is gonna be more fun.
Wish they never did that other stuff with buying the whole company.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't have done that.
They should have just got the rights to the Marvel franchises and Die Hard. That's all you need. That's all you need, Disney.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's going to lead us into our last story here of the day, and that is that Marvel is launching a create-your-own comics platform. Mm-hmm. Now, we were talking about this last night, and you mapped out a little idea that you had for me, and I told you...
that was actually a random one. That was a random idea for a comic I had a couple months ago.
I told you, wait until you're going to be a little surprised by the time we get to that. So I'm going to go ahead and go over my notes here that I made. Gotcha. Because while there's no release date yet for when you can take control of your favorite Marvel characters, there are some really odd restrictions.
I did read those, yeah.
Yeah, one, it's region specific to writers only physically located in the US, Canada, Australia, and Singapore.
Yeah.
Which is weird that the UK isn't in there yet.
Yeah, it's an internet access based approach. Really.
Yeah.
So anywhere you can get online, you should be able to use it.
Well, we don't know exactly how. Like they've got a website set up, and you can go there and sign up for the updates, I guess.
Maybe it's all a matter of like simple like, well, we couldn't like change the website into this language, so we're not gonna do it.
If I had to guess, I'm thinking it's gonna be some sort of program they're gonna release. You're gonna have to sign up for it, and then they'll check for that region specific stuff and all that.
Well, they may not put out a program if if they assume people should already own their own, and that you can pitch your own stuff using the program you already have. But if they put out a program, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I would hope it is. But it also could easily just be a website.
Yeah.
You can also not use any obscenities or bad and offensive language, which makes sense. Like that's fine. But what doesn't make sense is that you can't use proxies like the classic @ hashtag $ percentage exclamation mark. Marvel uses that in their comics to this day. Like people use that. Like, so why can't you at least use that proxy?
I think they don't want fans that use their own discretion. Like, they might not use it very well.
I understand that, but, like, you're taking away just the one thing that allows people to say, like, shit and fuck, basically, in their comics.
Yeah.
And that's weird, like, because you use that, Marvel. Why are you taking a stance here?
When I was reading someone's review on the requirements for this, they're like, well, we're probably not going to see any Deadpool submissions.
Yeah. Well, because also prohibited are double entendres, amusement parks other than Disney, Killer bees, guns, death, or other controversial topics, including social issues.
Killer bees.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's talk about killer bees. Why so specifically killer bees in your statement?
I know at least 100 deadlier animals.
Yeah, like, well, okay, all right. You get killer bees together and killer bees swarm.
Yeah,
that's pretty
badass.
That's pretty bad. But you equally on the same level don't want to run into a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So you're saying it's cool to use a bear, but not killer bees. I don't know. Because you can live through that. Nobody says that the killer bees have to kill.
Yeah.
But at the same time, why is death off the table? Marvel kills characters all the time and then consistently brings them back.
That is true. I assume the killer bees is up to... You know how something's only a law because something has happened?
Yeah.
I assume something with these killer bees has happened where it's like a strict law. Either Disney's against it or not. Yeah, maybe Disney's against it.
Maybe Disney is
maybe
like,
Marvel's
we take a firm stance on killer bees.
When we started this company, we swore we would never let killer bees
into our productions. Yeah. No, but it's the rest of the stuff that doesn't, like, controversial topics and social issues. Okay, I can get, like, maybe controversial.
No
like,
political stuff.
Like, you can't make your character, like, you can't turn Gwenpool into a Nazi.
Yeah.
But social issues, like, that's too much.
Right,
that's
like
too much of a stance.
like racism,
and like poverty and stuff like that. Like
that's what makes a character.
Well, that can also make a great story. You can put a positive message in it. Like you get like this really great outcome.
It's relatable.
It's a voice of change, and we need to do more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So essentially, what I'm getting here is that they're only really letting you make like your basic copy and paste, like 9-year-old's fantasy.
That's what I was gonna say. It seems like a kiddie project.
Yeah, it seems like a child playing with their toys.
There's gonna be like a age restriction. It's like between 9 to 17 or something. Not even 17. It's like 9 to 15.
Yeah,
write us a comic book.
It sounds
use your crayons.
It sounds too stripped down to really have a lot of fun with. I mean, if you're creative enough, I'm sure you can find a way to make a great story out of this. And what I'm thinking is that what they're trying to do, like, I don't know, like, maybe turn it into a contest or something. I think they're trying to strip mine for ideas because
that's what I think.
Marvel has been really, really stale lately. It's not like every book has been terrible. Like, the whole Captain America going to Hydra.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, Secret Empire was great. But yeah, so I think that's just what it is they're just trying to strip mine and get some new ideas.
And it's probably like, okay, they get tons of writers and everything. Well, I wouldn't say tons. They get handfuls of writers, and they have to pay them. So they're gonna find a way to like, how can we get more ideas and more writers without actually having to pay people?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're gonna be brewing all kinds of trails of stories without having to...
Which sucks, because when I first saw this, like, before I had read the article and everything, when I first saw this, I was like, wow, that is an amazingly cool idea. Yeah. Way to go, Marvel. And after I read the article, I started thinking about it. I'm like, Marvel, you devious bastard.
Right. I feel like so many shit stories are going to make it. Which, I guess they wouldn't be shit stories, but there will be, those PG requirements...
Yeah, and again, to preface this,
and anybody
it's
can
not
write
that
it.
Everything that Marvel is putting out is bad. Amazing Spider-Man's still doing well.
I've heard good things about that, and
I read the
Thor.
Star Wars. Yeah, Thor, especially right now. I think they're about to kill Lady Thor, but they're doing it like a drawn-out story, like it's supposed to be really.
And
good.
Iron Man's wasn't too bad not too long ago, wasn't it?
Well before Civil War started. Oh. And then there's another one that's doing real well too. I thought Gwenpool was great, and that they're canceling that in March.
What?
Yeah, that's getting canceled in March.
That book isn't even very far, is it? Like,
no,
like 30?
20 some odd issues.
Yeah, oh jeez.
Honestly, yeah.
It's probably gonna make
fucking
30.
Bummer, man. It. But
I don't think
I think they're just running out of ideas for the character, which is why I think they put her front and center on the website. When you go to the website, you can sign up for regular updates. You put in your email, and they'll send you updates on the progress of the program or whatever the hell it is they're doing. You can see Gwenpool right out in front dabbing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They made her. They made
Is that
Gwenpool
kind of like
dab.
her outro? Is that what that is?
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never seen her do it in the comic.
No, not that, but I mean, like, for some reason, I see that symbol of that dance when you see just a picture of it. It's kind of like see you later. I don't know why I get that feeling, but like, if they use that to represent her leaving on the page,
call me old. I don't care. But every time I see that, I'm like, you goddamn kids. It's like the number one feeling I get.
Don't
from
bring
dabbing.
that shit to me. But like, yeah, a lot of stories are gonna make it. I bet. Yeah, people probably won't be able to use Gwenpool. She wasn't that bad.
Well, she was killing people at first, and then she
she
stopped killing people. But like, I think she's still usable. But you're the artist here.
Right.
You're the one out of the two of us who more than likely be in the comics industry. What would you do with this program?
Well, one of my longtime goals, I've stated that one of the things I would like to do is do a Spider-Man comic, because I feel like it's I have the most fun with the story.
You got a lot of competition for that one. Everyone wants to do Spider-Man.
Yeah, everybody probably wants a piece of that. But I have one of my most exciting story ideas is actually an Iron Man story.
Yeah, this is the one you were telling me about last night.
And it's not completely fleshed out. It's just something that I've been thinking about so much. So this is how it would go. Some organization locks up the Iron Man suit on Tony Stark while he's in it. They lock it up somehow. He can't get out, and they're like, fuck it, we're going to control the suit with you in it, whether you like it or not. It goes on for decades, and he dies in the suit, but nobody knows it till the end of the story.
Yeah.
At some point where the villain that's controlling the suit has him get into some sort of conflict with an Avenger, maybe, like Captain America or like the Hulk, I think would be cool. And in a final battle, maybe the Hulk smashes into the suit. It's cracked open, and you finally see the skeleton of Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit, and they're like, "Wow, nobody expected this."
I have a few notes. Some of these are the notes that I gave you last night. I have a couple notes on it though, because I mean, just knowing the Iron Man character and stuff from where I've read him. Well, after the movie, I started reading a few of the older stories. I'm not going to claim to be this huge Iron Man fan.
The Iron Man over here.
I'm the Iron Man over here. Like, number one fan. But, no, so, like, I didn't really give a shit until after the movies. But I did start checking out a few things. Iron Man's never really been the kind of, like, patroller, like, going to save a cat out of a tree, stop a mugger. Like,
not your Superman type.
If he was walking down the street and he saw a mugger, yeah, he'd probably suit up and be like, fuck you. Or have some sort of, like, miniature personal device and, like, blast him real quick. But, yeah, he doesn't go out and patrolling or anything like that. But I just now had an idea, like, of who the hackers could be. Because I had no idea last night.
Right.
Because we were saying, like, some organization.
I figured it could be new.
Wakanda is the most technologically advanced city in the Marvel universe, on Earth, in the Marvel universe. Yeah. So, what if this, like, small band of Wakandan terrorists decide that they're going to do something to change the outside world? Like, Wakanda forever. They want Wakanda to take over the world. And they're going to try and spark this revolution by manipulating Iron Man. So, but in order to do that,
I think they just want the suit or something instead first.
Well, they would want to, like, tear down, because
or have him work for it.
Yeah, because like I said last night, like, this would have to be like a one shot or like a mini series or something that takes place way back early in Iron Man's career, because right now he has the Extremis armor. I don't believe anyone's hacking into that. And
he dies in it, so it'd have to be.
It would have to be. Like, to lock him in, it would have to be a suit that's not built into his body. So it would have to be an early suit that he has to get in and out of. And so they do this, and they pose as Iron Man, basically cutting off communication so he can't talk.
Yeah, they're like the man behind the mask.
This would have
they're
to
never
be,
seen.
Yeah, this would have to be before he uploads AI into the thing and stuff. So like real early in Iron Man's career. And so they've taken over the suit, and they're making him go and do these heroic acts or something. Maybe they stage something for Iron Man to go fight, and they make Iron Man go fight it, and he wins and everything. But they start using this influence of him they start making him a bigger and bigger hero, and using this influence, and then use that somehow to turn people on America or turn people on the Avengers or something, and then that's what happens. That's why they end up fighting, and then that's when they break open the suit. And maybe it's not been decades, maybe it's like been a year or something. It'll only take
long enough.
Yeah, it'll only take a few weeks to kill Tony Stark, but and then that's when the suit gets busted open and they're horrified.
Honest, I gotta do research on to see how long it takes to make a skeleton. So
Well, you also gotta think like he's not decomposing on the ground; he's decomposing in a metal can. Like, oh my god, I just thought about the decomposition process because like
it's a gruesome, morbid story.
He's gonna bloat. And the fucking smells and juices and everything are gonna be like
while the suit's moving,
and you crap yourself when you die too. So that's gonna be in there. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I assume it's gonna be like very like it's gonna have a very musk to it. But by the time it's cracked open, it's the skeleton with some like debris around.
I don't know. Dusted. I think it should be horrific. Like. I think they should, and then the story doesn't even just end there because they got to figure out what's going on.
Well, like, I had an idea while you're brewing those as well. It would have to have some sort of way for Tony Stark to still like when they first take control of the suit. I would want there to be somewhere that still an AI system. That way he can. I want him to have some final moments that are flashing throughout the comic. Without you knowing where they fit in. Maybe his final moments are like playing at the very beginning and in the middle, and then at the end you realize that it was all taking place years ago. Those final moments of his, and then it like after they crack open the suit, we see one more of his like final like moments. It would have to be like something recorded by like
maybe there's like some sort of contingency plan. Or whatever, right. Like he has like some
in the suit,
some built in, or like maybe just in like his overall like maybe if he hasn't been in contact for so long, there's like a shutdown protocol.
He set it up in case he ever ends up in a situation. Like that.
Maybe because again I like having AI in the suit. I feel would be counterproductive to the terrorists. Yeah, it would make it too easy to defeat the terrorists.
Unless they're smarter.
He needs to be a lesser known hero at this point, so that way he can rise to those levels. Because right now, Tony Stark is not the world's like favorite hero. Like he's well known and popular amongst some, but he's kind of an asshole. And he's fucked up a lot of shit. Tony Stark is a shitty dude in a lot of respects. So this has to be like early Iron Man, so they can rise him up to those epic hero levels. Like, because he's got to outshine Captain America. So yeah, I think you're onto something there. Somebody's likely gonna steal that. That is our intellectual property. We're stating right here.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Iron Man.
And that's the thing. Why, like,
been thinking of titles.
Doesn't necessarily have to be Iron Man. It doesn't have to be the Marvel. Maybe create your own characters.
That's true. I could go completely
make it a whole graphic novel. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about? I think that's all. We're coming in like at a good time here, and maybe it's because we cut out comics.
Yeah, really. Just talking about comic stuff in general, I guess, fills up that.
But so nothing else came across your plate?
Not that I can think of. I know I came across all kinds of stuff over the past month, but it's breezed by.
I haven't been doing too much either. Just like nothing like big topic worthy. I started playing Jade Empire for the original Xbox. It's pretty fun. Came suggested to me by a good buddy Mark Jenkins, who was on Serious Shit once. So.
Yeah, I still gotta listen to this.
Yeah, you still gotta start listening to our podcast.
Yeah. In fact,
it'd be nice if you listened in.
Yeah, I listen to the Nerdist a good bit, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to freaking talk about that.
I'll listen to the Nerdist. I'll listen to a 10-minute podcast. Oh, what? Serious Shit? That show I'm on? No, I haven't heard that. I've never listened to that one.
Which reminds me, if anybody hasn't listened to that Futurama episode.
Oh, the radio play we talked about.
Oh, you
a few
did?
episodes back. Yeah, well, it was
That's-
in episode of, or it was in phone booth news.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And here's me to reinforce it. I recently listened to it like 3 nights ago, and if anybody hasn't heard and they're a big fan of it, they should check that out.
Yeah, I listened to that a few months back. It is really fun.
I got someone who doesn't even listen to podcasts to listen to it because it's Futurama. I was like, this is the next episode. This is what you're gonna get.
If you like Futurama, you are gonna love this. And it's all original voice cast and everything.
And
too,
you
so
get Chris Hardwick as well as a character.
Yes, he was. That's right.
Yeah, he was the villain.
Chris Hardwick was in there.
And all the dialogue was still great. I think they made jokes about the writers for that specific thing. They talk about how in all my circuits, somebody's talking about how they fire writers and stuff all the time. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably working.
Oh, you mean Calculon?
Yes.
Yeah, Calculon.
And I think they were working with new writers for that podcast. Is what it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also just a joke on the industry because writers are one of the least respected people like in the industry, unless you make a name for yourself and then you write something.
Yeah. So I guess I've been getting a lot more into podcasts lately.
Yeah.
Besides our own.
Yeah.
And
I've got a steady amount of podcast. I don't feel like branching out right now. Like, it's hard enough to keep up with what I do.
Then some of those shows we were talking about, if we ever get a chance, we should totally do a happy episode. I think.
Because you were telling me a little earlier that you really wanted to talk about Happy, and you would think that I'd have seen it by now, but no, I haven't. Yeah,
a random friend of mine who I don't think really has he never comes to me with anything comic book, but he is as soon as he sees me, he talks about Happy. It just so happened that I had kind of randomly seen it late one night, and I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I go and check out the Facebook page. I was like, this is more awesome. And I started looking at everything for Happy that night. I started going on a spree before I even seen the show. Yeah. And I finally seen the show, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, that's what drives me nuts about people's perception of comic books. Look, a lot of these shows and movies do not branch too far from the product.
Yeah.
So you could have been enjoying this forever ago if you just looked into it. Comic books are like films and television. There are any number of different genres and sorts. It's not all superheroes. It's not all kid-like fantasy. There's tons of shit out there. There is a comic book for everyone.
Yeah, we both watched tons of movies, tons of shows, and all that. Read tons of regular books and stuff, but if you're looking to fill an entertainment hole, if you run out of a show to binge, I pick up a comic book because if I have a whole stack of them, a whole story, it's just as good to burn through a whole story.
Yeah.
The Invincible book that I just read. Yeah. That kept me hooked. I read it all in one night.
And that's the other thing is if
you get visuals with your dialogue and all that.
If you feel like, oh, it's 15 issues in, don't worry, they make collected editions. You can get caught up. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the fucking world. So it always drives me nuts, people's excuses for comic books. Just say that you don't want to read them. Don't be like, well, wish I could, but this is no.
Those are the people who usually don't really read in general.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to have a reader's enthusiasm anyways.
I guess, yeah. Well, I find it way easier to get excited about comic books than I do actual novels. And I'll read. I'm reading Ready Player One right now, so
that's something I want to borrow from you.
Yeah,
definitely. And I recently burned through a bunch of So You Created a Wormhole: The Time Traveler's Guide to Time Travel, which is a part of my my survival guide collection.
Oh yeah, you do have that survival guide.
Yeah, I have the Time Traveler survival guide and the Zombie survival guide, and my next one was going to be the Sharknado survival guide.
Oh my god!
After I heard about it, and there's plenty more for me to add.
Yeah. I told everyone this Christmas that I was like, you're gonna get me anything? Get me Star Wars novels. Get me Star Wars novels. Yeah. I didn't get a single Star Wars novel.
Oh yeah,
I like this. Don't get me wrong. I sleep with that blanket that Mom got me every night. I've eaten the shit out of those Oreos. All Odle got me was this really bitchin' Superman statue. Fucking asshole. Actually, it's great. Yeah. It's really cool. Unfortunately, the cape broke off in the packaging or something. But I bought some super glue. It's all good to go now. But no, I didn't get a single Star Wars novel, and there's so many now. Oh my god.
I gotta check them out.
The Aftermath trilogy is what I really want to read. That's some like for anyone a fan of the original trilogy who really wants to know how that goes, Han and Leia get married in it. Like there's a ceremony sometime after Return of the Jedi. There's so many holes that get filled and stuff. It's supposed to be great. Aftermath trilogy is really what I want to read, like up front, and I also really want to read the Ahsoka novel.
Oh yeah,
but there's a ton
about that one.
There's a Phasma one, like for people who are like, oh, there wasn't a Phasma in the two movies. There's a comic book, and there's a comic book, and then there's I think the novel is set before The Force Awakens. The comic book is set in between Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
That'd be a pretty cool pickup there.
Yeah. Speaking of The Last Jedi.
What? Oh, there's notes on that, huh?
Speaking of The Last Jedi, check out the Last Jedi review we did. That's our last episode of Sort of My Podcast before we went on break. And you can also check out our YouTube channel, Sort of My Brand. We've talked about it a couple times this episode. And go over there, subscribe, check out some of our stuff, because once we get everything caught up, that's when we already wrote 2 new skits last night. We wrote a skit and the sequel to that skit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got some ideas, some stuff's coming up. This month, you can also probably expect a new episode of Alpha's Unboxing a month late from when he should have done it.
Oh, yeah.
Me and him talked about that last night. Like, those aren't going to be live anymore. He's not going to do them live. It'll give him more incentive to do the episode as soon as the box comes in. It'll give me a small window to edit, but editing's not too much of a chore on there. But it'll also up the quality, because I noticed that 2 episodes that he and I recorded that weren't live were like look way better than the shit I have to download from our Facebook page.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So new Alpha's Unboxing should be coming up. Guys, we said at the beginning, like, comment, follow, all that stuff, various social medias. It's also down in the description. So
what do we call our groupies? What do we call the fans of an SMP?
Shit, I don't know.
Sort of my fans.
Sort of my fans? We call them
sort of my followers?
Shit, I feel like we should come up with some sort of like combination pun from sorta something. Sortamites?
Oh,
we call them Sortamites. Yeah, all you Sortamites out there.
There we go.
Yeah, all you Sortamites out there. Like,
been there, coined that.
Comment on the podcast of like what we were talking about. Get in on the conversation. Who knows? That could lead to us like responding to you in the next episode. You never know. Do you have any questions for us? Like, what are your thoughts?
Follow through and look up some of those topics. Like if the Marvel comic page gets published soon enough, if you got ideas and you've done one, send that to us.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Maybe at the end of each episode we'll give them we'll give them a specific question to comment down below.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll give them an incentive to comic. So yeah, what are your comic book ideas given the parameters that Marvel have set for this thing? So you gotta follow the rules that we pointed out in that segment. But yeah, what are your comic book ideas? What would you do with this program?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human.
Travis Herman, Dr. T. Neal.
And play that. Oh, we don't have a clever thing. Play that Sortamite's favorite outro music. Sure.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.